Hi, my name is Christine Thompson, and I'm going to take you through my internship and the artifacts and projects that I worked on with the Pocono Writing Project. This is my comprehensive portfolio, and I have a tab here for my internship. My internship was to be an instructional designer for the Pocono Writing Project. The Pocono Writing Project is an affiliate of the National Writing Project. They have worked on a few different things in the past and did a teacher course that I helped make into a self-paced course for educators. It was originally a seven module course where teachers posted on discussion posts and created surveys and answered things like that. So I was able to edit and make it a self-paced course. And I'm going to take you through a couple of the different things that I created. So in my internship tab, one of the major things I worked on was the writing naturally lessons. The Pocono Writing Project really wanted to focus on writing and better ways to teach writing in the classroom and making sure that teachers were their authentic selves. So I helped develop lesson plans and finalize them for the Pocono Writing Project and work on the consistency of those writing plans and then ultimately put them all into a website. So there's a link here that will take you to the Writing Naturally site. And I have that open right here. So this is the Writing Naturally site, which I'll put into preview mode for you. I created this within Google Sites. I added some nice graphic images, and all of these images also have alt text to them for anyone who is a reader, for someone who cannot see the images or needs alternate text for the photographs. Each tab will take you to a different portion of the website, and then this tab here, the Teachers Writing Naturally course, will then take you to the previous course that Dr. Sockman had created with the Pocono Writing Project, and now is a self-paced course that educators can go through and work on their own writing and reflecting using nature. Each section you can go through and there is an introduction. I created this pen and leaf graphic for the Pocono Writing Project and put it throughout each headline to make it consistent and have a nice graphic image throughout. I copied these guidelines from the Pocono Writing Project team who had already had these written for me, and then I just placed them within the site. I would check them for spelling and some content things and consistency, but otherwise most of this information was put together. Each page then has a link that you can download and print the PDF version of the document themselves in case teachers want to have access to these resources for their classroom in a printout version. Here's a guidelines page to get teachers comfortable in understanding how to bring their classes outside and getting familiar with nature around them. I went through and I linked different resources throughout each page for teachers to be comfortable in terms of using different handouts and templates that they could use if they wanted to in terms of graphic organizers. I then created an overall template. I did this infographic on Genially. I had to screenshot it because unfortunately you need the pro version in order to actually download the image itself. So some of these items were a little bit more animated and would move, but it wasn't that important that be on the website. So the image itself is more important than the little bit of animation. So that's a little downfall of Genially, but something cool that I got to research through my internship. And then here is the basic lesson plan format that anyone should be able to use, incorporating the 5 senses, getting out in nature, and putting the topic of your choice within the lesson plan. Again, I linked each example handout that teachers could use right off the bat if they wanted to, and all of those resources were resources that I had created as well. So again, this link will take you to the printout of the lesson plan, and then this will take you to the example lesson plan page, which is up here as well. There were 4 different lessons that were already created for content. We had 2 for science, one that was an indoor biome lesson and one that was a specific outdoor activity for biomes. So I have a drop down here and you'll see the lesson plan. Again, each lesson plan has linked resources specific to that content. And then we have the outdoor activity for the biomes lesson. After the content for science, we have a social studies lesson that was developed by about Lewis and Clark and their expeditions. I made sure that each lesson plan had resources and materials section. Again, brainstorming and organizers can be found here via the links. And our ELA content was Romeo and Juliet, scenes, Act 1, scenes 1 and 4. So again, most of the template is all the same, but it just varies by the content. And after meeting with Dr. Sockman, we realized those lesson plans were really geared toward the dominant culture, and she was looking for something with a little bit more diversity, as that's a focus in the Pocono Writing Project, getting all diverse population feeling comfortable to go outside. So I developed a new lesson for the visual arts and using photography and using the work of Dudley Edmondson, who is a nature photographer, who's African American and works to push the idea that diverse cultures need to feel comfortable getting outside and doing outdoor activities, and it's something that he's an advocate for. So I felt it fit very well with the Pocono Writing Project. So I developed this lesson for them. And again, I created some resources. There's a Google Slides presentation I created and a new graphic organizers that are linked in here as well. And each lesson also has just a little slideshow of some photographs for visual representation and just to engage the viewer a little bit more. And then again, you'll find the printout version links here within the site. The next tab is the resources, which are all the graphic organizers that I had created using Canva. I modified all of them to create better templates that fit for the lesson. These are the general resources and just examples for nature observations. And then here are the content specific examples, which are linked specifically in each lesson plan. And the folder for the resources is here as well, and that will link you to the Google account folder for the Pocono Writing Project, which I'll show you in a few minutes, that all teachers can access and then download and use any of these sites or resources that they would like from the website. The last thing I had to modify or look at was the assessments. So I created this general assessment and rubric based off of something that the Pocono Writing Project members had given me previously. It needed some reviewing and feedback. There needed to be a lot more information within the rubric, so I wound up creating this rubric. This is most likely, it's a general assessment, but it's more formal in terms of the type of grading. And then this is a simple assessment, more checking for understanding in terms of the choices and options that they're given throughout the lesson plan for finishing the lesson. There's a variety of ways you can go through and check for understanding. So that is the Writing Naturally lesson plan website that I created, which will be housed within the Pocono Writing Project site that will be placed within the ESU website as well. So that's listed on my portfolio here. And the second tab is then that Pocono Writing Project website development that I created. So the Pocono Writing Project needs a website within the ESU website. Dr. Sockman would like links from the ESU website to then open and will take you then to the Writing Naturally lesson plan site. Will take you to the Teachers Writing Naturally site as well, but we need it housed within the ESU site first, because it is an affiliate of the National Writing Project, but it is under the East Stroudsburg University department. So this is the mock-up that I came up with, which was in Photoshop. I used some different screenshots from the ESU homepage itself, and then I clicked on a few different academic tabs and got to different groups and different information on those sites, and then created this mock-up for the Pocono Writing Project using Photoshop. Each one of these tabs would then be buttons to take you to the next site. And I tried to use information from the National Writing Project as well. But we couldn't use a lot of their color schemes and everything because it has to fit within the ESU framework. So this is as creative as I could kind of push it. But I'm very excited to see what the webmasters will do with this and creating it in the ESU website. I look forward to being able to check that out. Another thing that was a major project for me throughout the entire internship was working on a flyer for the Summer Writing Institute. The Pocono Writing Project is working on opening a 2-day writing institute for teachers and educators to reflect on their writing, get more into their writing, and then also discuss difficult topics and how to work this in with students as well. At the very beginning of my internship, towards the end of May, beginning of June, I created this very general flyer. This is where it had started, and we were going to push that flyer out to educators to sign up for the Writing Institute. Gears shifted a little bit, and then we were possibly discussing bringing in Dr. Artress White, who was doing a professional development on her own, but then the Pocono Writing Project members thought maybe that we could kind of join forces with her. So the flyer was then revamped to create some of her work as well, incorporated in there. After another meeting, we decided we didn't want her necessarily on the cover because she wasn't the main portion. We were just going to tie her in a little bit, maybe a half day, not a full day. So that image changed to just a generic image here from online. And I had her agenda here, but then we were still missing content and things for agenda day 2. And then finally, we finalized everything. And these are the Pocono Writing Project members, Jamie, Kim, and Jess, who will be running the Writing Institute. We finalized all the details. We wound up taking out Dr. Artress White's plan, and we're going to do something separate with her. And then we created the day 1 and day 2 workshop agendas for the Writing Institute. And this flyer was pushed out to teachers at the end of July, hoping to sign people up by August 6th to run the Institute on the 15th and the 16th at ESU. So that's currently in the works. And then my internship log is here, and you can find all my hours there. I just want to take you to the Pocono Writing Project Google account as well, so you can see the work. All of the files that I have are placed into this Google account, and these are where you can find all of the information. Anything from the Writing Naturally site will be tagged to this Google account, and all teachers will have access to this and be able to download and print this information for themselves. Again, these are the graphics and resources that I created for the website, and all of the resources for the lessons I created are in here. So if you go to the general resources, you'll find all of those PDFs. The Lewis and Clark lesson as well, all of those PDFs. Here's the specific photography lesson that I created with the Google Slides on Dudley Edmondson's work, and getting students to think about his photography and reflect using the 5 senses. So those are the major assignments that I completed during my internship. I was very lucky to work with Dr. Sockman and work through ESU, and I was very proud to be able to do this work for the Pocono Writing Project.